Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another conversation inside of Legacy Farmer. And today's topic and discussion is going to be around abandoning the family farm. Okay, now we have a lot of members inside of Legacy Farmer that are in between the ages of really 25 to 45. Like we have a lot of members there, and a lot of them actually still work on their family farms that their parents have always worked on, that their grandparents started. Like a lot of these people are second, third, or fourth generation farmers, and there's this massive problem that's not talked about. And the problem is the simple fact that if you're in your 30s and 40s and you've been working on the family farm operation for a long time and you're not getting what you were promised, you're not getting the results that you want something different from your family, there's a guilt and an amount of shame you feel for wanting to do something different, right? And you feel like trapped, And the reason I'm talking about this is because we've had multiple discussions with a lot of our members inside of Legacy Farmer around this topic because they feel trapped. They feel like they're imprisoned by the family farm because if they feel like if they want to do something different for their life, for their wife, for their future, for their family, for their legacy, that they're abandoning the family farm, that they're letting their parents down or their grandparents down or their siblings down. And there's a lot of weight and guilt that comes with this. And then on top of that, when we do start to make some changes and some of these members do start to do some things that are going to be better for their future and their legacy, the family that is supposedly supposed to have their back no matter what, and we're supposed to be bled into our family and always stick up for your family, they get pissed off right away. And then they make this person feel that shame and that guilt because they're trying to act like they're leaving the family farm, and that's not the case at all. Okay, and this is a topic and discussion that's not talked about, period, or very much at all across the ag industry, but it's a massive problem because a lot of people are dealing with this today. Okay, and we've just covered this so many times in so many conversations, and that's why I'm bringing it up in this conversation today. But here's the reality, all right? And I was talking to one of our members about this the other day. It's this simple question. They reached out to me and they were sharing, what the situation was, and we've talked about this several times. It just continues to happen. And they asked me any advice that I had. I said I don't have any advice. I have a question. I just have a question, and the question is what is the cost if you guys don't do this, if you guys don't make changes, if you guys don't start building the business that you want to build that's separate from the family farm, if you don't separate your finances from the family farm, if you don't separate your businesses from the family farm, because a lot of families today, like two siblings will own some cattle, they'll own them with their dad, and cattle are split, equipment's split across all the siblings. There's no organization, and I'm just going to tell you, there's thousands of dollars lost every year in those gray areas because you're pretending that, hey, yeah, you take care of this and I'm going to pick up the expenses for this crop or for the combine, or, I'll let you use my combine as long as you pay rent or whatever it is. There's just gray expenses or gray area expenses, and there's just hundreds of thousands of dollars lost every year because we're not keeping track of these things. And that's the problem with being in bed in business with your family, is that there's so many things that just don't go talked about. They just go unhandled, and because of that, a lot of people lose a lot of money. And when you start to try to separate yourself from that so you can get clean books on your end, you know exactly what money's coming in that's supposed to be going towards your family, and you just have your own thing, again, there's this guilt and this weight and this amount of shame that you feel, one, from separating yourself because you feel like you're letting everybody down, but then two, a lot of families, they will put that weight on you, and they will make you feel that way because they feel abandoned. That's why the topic is called Abandoning the Family Farm. But again, we go back to how I was talking to these current members that we have. I said, what's the cost? What's the cost if you don't do this? And their responses back was, yeah, the cost to our children, to our future, to our marriage, to our well-being is a lot more than the uncomfortableness of having that crucial conversation with their family about breaking ties, about separating, and how much healthier it's going to be. I'm going to tell all of you from my personal experience with our family feed yard. Growing up, feed yard was 14,000 head of cattle. We also farmed several thousand acres of ground. And my granddad started the operation with the hope and the plan that all the kids would get to work in it. My granddad had 5 kids. He had 3 sons and then 2 daughters. All of them were involved in the farm operation, right? And my dad ran the feed yard. My 2 uncles managed all the farm ground. My 2 aunts worked in the office. And I'm going to tell you guys, there was a lot of family turmoil growing up. And my dad would constantly argue or be in disagreements with his father, my granddad, or his 2 brothers, or his 2 sisters. And this constant just back and forth battle. Because when you're working with family, this is what happens. It's not all roses like everybody tries to pretend or portray it to be. I know what's really going on, right? But here's the deal, though. Since the feed yard actually closed down, since the entire operation closed down back in 2005, My dad has better relationships with all of his siblings than he ever did growing up. Because when they actually have conversations now, they're talking about family. They're not talking about business. When you mix business and family, that's a recipe for disaster, because nobody sets any clear boundaries. Nobody sets any clear guidelines. There's no game plan into how you're going to have those conversations. And because of that, whenever you try to have a conversation with a family member about business, they feel attacked. It turns into an argument. Then the conversation never happens, completely setting you up for failure long term. And you avoid each other now. You work together on a day-to-day basis, but you avoid having that conversation now. Oh, I'm sorry, but avoiding that conversation is going to cost you a lot more than just money. It's going to cost you tons of money, but it's going to cost you a lot more with your family life, with your personal life, with your marriage, with who you are as a person, with the confidence you have, with the moves you make going forward, with everything. Right? So yes, I love the idea and the concept about having a family farm, right? But at the end of the day, a majority of families struggle to separate business and personal life. And I get it. I'm not saying there's some magic formula. There's not. But with our members right now and what a majority of people are facing, where they feel like they're abandoning, and then that family is putting additional weight on them, making them feel like they're abandoning because they want to go build their own thing. I'm going to tell you, building your own thing and getting some separation, you're removing any business conversations from happening with your family. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be the best thing for you. It is going to be the best thing for you, because now when you call your mom, your dad, your brother, guess what you're talking about? Kids. Or football games, or what's going on with 4-H this year, or whatever it may be. Now you're having family conversations, and there's not that turmoil or that, I don't even know how to describe the feeling, but just that uncomfortableness of having those business conversations with family. It's a very slippery slope to walk, and a lot of people are struggling today. And we focus a lot of the time in Legacy Farmer and helping those members that want to build their own thing, build their own thing. And also have the crucial conversations along the way to get the separation and process. We focus so much in Legacy Farmer in clean books, clean organization, clean entity structure, having estate planning set up, having a full-on just a business structure set up that you can wrap your head around. And when you mix in everybody else's things into your businesses, there's no way you'll ever be able to wrap your head around everything that's going on. Transactions and personal and business expenses are going to be mixed across multiple accounts and multiple entities, and your brother might have some, your parents might have some. It's a crap show. It really is. So having that separation, getting things set up, which is what we're helping a lot of the members do, because we were not taught and trained how to do this. One, entity structure and design and organization, and how to get clean books and how to structure all my accounts. But on top of that, having the crucial conversation to actually separate yourself from the family. It's a very difficult thing to do. But that's one of the big things that's been coming up a lot lately, because so many members are stuck where they feel like they're imprisoned by the family farm, when they really, one, it's not healthy for them, because the family and business right there is not working well together. I'm not saying it doesn't work good in all families, because there's very few that it does, but for a majority of us, it's very difficult working with family, especially when you involve money in the conversation. Oh boy, like you're in for a very difficult conversation. But we're focusing on separating that and then helping the members get all those things set up. So if you're resonating with this message and what I talked about right now, you feel imprisoned by your family farm, you feel ashamed, and you feel this guilt and this weight for abandoning your family farm. But at the end of the day, you know what's best for you and your family and your kids and your legacy and your future and what you want for your family long term. One, you have to do it, but two, if you want help, like that's what we do in Legacy Farmer. Among everything else, right, we do a lot of different things in Legacy Farmer, but that's a focus point, and those are things that we talk about because these are critical things that hold people back. These are critical problems that cause massive problems in marriages. Because if you're the son that's sitting here and you feel like you're abandoning your family farm and you don't have the guts to have the conversation with your parents or your brother, whoever it may be, well, then your wife feels like, hey, like he's not committed to taking care of us. He's committed more to his parents. He's not committed to me. This happens more than you guys can think. It's happening so much, so often, and all over the U.S. with farmers and ranchers and ag business owners today. So my friends, I hope you found value inside of this message. Again, if you want help with this, then reach out to us. Fill out an application, talk more with our team about what we do inside of Legacy Farmer, how we can help you, and things like that. But ultimately, I hope you found value inside of this message, and we'll catch you on the next conversation.